the text in the chat, of course, and I would like so it is being live streamed right now. So everything I'm saying right now is being live. So wouldn't if I had been more proper? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If I had been more proper, that's fine. There's no problem with that. No, that sentence. If I was a dog, I have eaten it raw. Already happened. Is no. But I think those sentences are wrong, Ebony. Those they don't make any grammatic. They don't grammatically make any sense. Okay, so if I was a dog, I'd have eaten it raw. So it's expressing your hypothetical situation in the past. It implies that the speaker wasn't a dog in the past, so the action of eating the food raw didn't happen. If I were a dog, I might eat it raw. It's used to express hypothetical situations in the present or future. It suggests that if the speaker were to become a dog, they might eat the food raw, but it's still uncertain. So, if I was a dog, so does that make sense? One second, guys. Okay. Any questions, guys, before we get started? What do you mean, what is the difference? Is there a difference between what? So they're both correct, but they're both in different context styles. So if I was a dog, that is the secondary conditional sentence used to express a hypothetical situation. Whereas if I were a dog, that is a first conditional sentence used to express a hypothetical situation. Okay? All right. So I would like to go ahead and start off by giving you guys some tips and tricks and all that. Things that you probably have heard before. So the first tip, guys, is to set yourself up with a realistic goal. So the first tip, guys, is set yourself up with a realistic goal. Okay? So set yourself up. Tip number 1, guys. Set yourself up with a realistic goal. A lot of times, a lot of learners want to dive out into the deep end. They want to jump in head first without testing out the waters. So set up realistic goals. Set up realistic goals. So that basically means that instead of focusing on the big picture, you need to focus on more smaller things that you can actually manage. Like, okay, I'm going to learn 10 new words every single week, or being able to hold a basic conversation about hobbies. So you regularly review and adjust those goals, your progress, and celebrate the little things. The more you celebrate, the more confident you're going to feel, the more you're going to be able to move further on with your goals and achievements. So if your goal is to have a 5-minute conversation in English, start by practicing with the language partner for 2 minutes and then gradually increase the time. So set up those shorter term goals. Okie dokie. The next one, guys. Give me a second, guys. Okay, here we go. Okay. And any questions, guys, based on that tip? So, tip number 1, set realistic goals. Can I add a source? Can I add a text to it? Ah, I can. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do that. There we go. All right. I want no. I want the font to be smaller. I don't know how to make it smaller. Ah, here we go. Oh, that's way too small. Hold on, guys. That's way too small. Let me make the font bigger. Okay, set realistic goals. Any questions about that, guys? Any questions? If I wanted sushi and I was rude and hated sushi made normally. Huh? For example, I wanted sushi and I was rude and hated sushi made normally. That doesn't make any sense. Sorry. I don't know, Ebony, what you mean. I'm sorry. The food situation, not the dog. Huh? Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. That sentence is not grammatically correct, guys. So if you guys want to talk about the grammar stuff, go into a different chat. Otherwise, you're kind of being rude. You guys not want to hear. Because Ebony, I'm gonna be honest. Like, you definitely need this because you're giving out wrong information. You're saying, for example, I wanted sushi and I was rude and hated sushi made normally. That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know what you guys are talking about now. So I don't know what you're doing now, guys. I mean, it's understandable. You guys aren't mature enough or, knowledgeable enough to, like, be in a class like this. And it's understandable. You guys get sidetracked. Probably why you might get kicked out of university. Anyways, I'm going to go to the next tip, guys. So another tip, guys, that you guys always ask, like I said, this is about improving your English, setting up goals and stuff. Another thing, guys, is that you got to immerse yourself. So you got to immerse yourself with the language, okay? You need to immerse yourself. So if you immerse yourself in the language, then that's going to help you become more adaptable to the environment. And if I'm incorrect, then I'm incorrect, okay? Right now, you guys are off topic. So if you're off topic, I'll end it right now. I will end the stage right now. So go to your grammar room and talk about that stuff. Because I don't know. So, I apologize. I'm not a grammar expert, guys. I'm talking about speaking. You guys are asking dumb hypothetical questions about being a dog. I don't know what the purpose of that is. So, do you guys want to talk about what you do if you're a dog, or do you want to talk about tips on how to improve your spoken English? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So I admit I'm wrong. Okay? But what is the purpose of this talking about being a dog? Like, I really want to know what the purpose is. Does Kevin want to talk about being a dog and if he'd eat raw meat? Or do you guys want to learn some tips? What would you guys like? Talk about being dogs, or you guys want to learn how to speak English? And you're talking about being a dog. So what is the point of that conversation? There's no purpose of that. Like, what's the purpose of that? Good for you. So what is the purpose of this conversation right now? What I'm talking about. It's like you're completely ignoring what I'm talking about. It's rude and disrespectful. So why don't you go to university, interrupt the professor, and start talking, then just talk about something completely different. It's rude and disrespectful. I don't know what you're doing in my class right now. But I asked, but if you had listened carefully, I said, what are some issues that you guys have in regards to speaking English and learning English? I did not ask you to start asking random grammatical questions that have nothing to do with speaking English. All right? If you're writing essays or doing like theses and stuff like that, then that is going to be something else, a different, completely different class, and there are instructors that focus on that, right? Right now, my focus is to help you guys and guide you. Yeah, that part I'm not 100% familiar with because natives don't care about this and that. Like, it doesn't matter unless you're like writing some thesis to try to make sense of it. You know, even natives will speak poorly, but will make sense of it. There's a, you know, there are like workarounds when people speak. Yeah, so the conditionals, I don't know. Yeah, so those are tricky. It's tricky because it depends on contexts of everything. There's a context to everything when we're speaking. Does that make sense? So like, it's hard to explain because I'm a native speaker. We don't think about that shit. To be honest, pardon my French, we don't think about it. It's not important. Unless you're making something completely nonsense and it's not making sense. You know, you're talking about conditionals. I think you're talking about that more has to do with writing and stuff, and writing's not my expertise, right? So, but again, I don't know how that has to do with. I mean, so it sounds like you have issues when it comes to, but I have a hunch that the tips I'm going to give you are going to be helpful as well. You know, so like. I don't know, but I don't have any exact resources or forums for that, guys. And I'm gonna probably end this early because you guys are all over the place, and I don't feel like wasting my time. And maybe I'll do something a little more organized, where I get your focus and have your attention better. Native speakers misuse their own language in their daily life. But it depends on what context you're talking about. Like, nobody is grammatically perfect. Otherwise, you're going to sound like a complete buffoon. If you speak perfect grammar and organize everything perfectly, you're going to sound, honestly, you're going to sound like a moron. But if you don't sound like you know what you're talking about, you're going to sound like a moron. But native speakers in any language screw up their language all the time. So it doesn't matter if you speak Chinese, Japanese, German, Russian, whatever language, you're going to end up screwing it up as a native speaker because you're shortcutting everything. So, of course. But, like, if you're asking, like, specifics about how to exactly say things, then you're going in the wrong direction when it comes to being natural with your language. If you're practicing for an exam, or something like that sort, then yeah, that's when you need to look into it. But the examiner's not going to know half as much as you do, probably. Oh no, they're native speakers. They probably will know. But they're Chinglish, or they're like some half-ass English speaker that thinks they know everything. They're not going to help you or guide you. You do realize that you might get a 7 or a 9 on an IELTS, but it's not going to help you in the States to be naturally living in that environment. You have to understand that. Oh my gosh, I got a 9 on my IELTS. That's really going to be nothing for you other than a piece of paper that says you got a 9. Or a 7, or whatever score you guys get. But in daily life, guys, in daily life, right? It's not going to help you. But like maybe when it comes to exams, when it comes to universities, when it comes to maybe a working environment, that's when it's going to come into play. But even so, you know, people who come to the States who get these high scores, really it gets them nowhere because they're memorizing everything. You're memorizing the answers. You're memorizing your answer. And then when you're asked the question a different way, your mind's going to freeze and burn up. Not burn up, sorry. Your mind's going to freeze and you're not going to know what to say. All right, so what other questions do you guys have that I may be able to address when it comes to speaking English? Because I'll just do free question. I mean, not free, but freestyle questions. So I'll completely eliminate my plan that I was going to talk to you guys about. Since you guys want to interrupt and go off topic, I will address you guys. So ask away. And how is that relevant, Kevin? I'm curious to know how that's relevant to speaking English. Which food do American people eat in daily life? How is that relevant? Kevin, are you in high school? Kevin, you're in high school? Oh, okay, that makes sense. I don't get it either. For my wife wills not as I had have her will. This is an expert from her. I don't know what that means either. Yeah, it makes Kevin. It makes sense, buddy, that you're in high school. But Kevin, my friend, I hope your attention's better in the classroom. What is sound? I don't know what that means. What is sound in my language? I think you guys are you guys like all in high school? Yeah, I had quit the other platform I was streaming on. I don't know what you mean by that. What is it sound like in your speaking with? I don't know what you mean by that. You mean, yeah. I might do this this lecture a different day, different time. Hey, Batman, I've seen you before. No, they don't use idioms in their daily life. All right, guys. I'm gonna end it early, guys. You guys are all over the place. Take care.